Joy's going to drive the boat. Come
my
on,
God.
Joy.
All right. It's excellent pouring, not me. I poured it all over her face, up her nose. Sorry.
Weak as hell.
Have you ever been so successful that you feared even the closest person to you might be jealous? Today, we're looking at a heartbreaking example of that fear in the story of 45-year-old Joy Brown, a real estate agent, teacher, and mother who lost everything to her husband right after she thought she had achieved something great for herself. Just days after she had closed the deal, Joy discovered a tracking device on her car, and in desperation, she sent a chilling message to a friend. In this text, she wrote that her husband was going to put her in a casket. Not long after this text message, 45-year-old Joy Brown was found dead. But how does a man, someone you've had a child with, traveled the world alongside and shared joyful moments with, suddenly turn against you? Joy Brown's successful journey, crossing paths with her killer husband, began in Brooklyn, New York, a city that breeds resilience. And her passion to be a real estate agent developed at a young age when she went to schools like Bishop Ford Central Catholic High School, then soon after Long Island University, Brooklyn, revealing her first glimpse of determination. So Joy finishes school and starts looking for jobs. Not long after, Joy finds a job, but it wasn't the job she expected to do, although she later loved it. But Joy didn't stop looking for more opportunities. She used most of her off days to move around in public in search, and eventually something happened. Her passion for real estate met with an opportunity. The beautiful seaside town of Hampton, Virginia was growing fast, with more people buying homes and property prices going up every day. It was exactly what Joy needed, a place where she could be both a teacher and a rising star in real estate. The friendly neighborhoods where everyone knew each other made it easy for her to build connections and work toward her goals. In this welcoming community, Joy could see herself building the successful life as a realtor. From this point, Joy's life changed for better. She started going out more with friends, did what she enjoyed most. Some of those good moments were recorded in videos like this.
Joy, welcome to Skydive Shopping.
Hey.
What are we doing today?
We skydiving.
Is this your first time?
Yes, it is.
You're excited,
I'm excited.
obviously.
Yeah.
Are you nervous at all?
No.
Not at all?
No.
Okay, that's cool.
But ask me that when I get up.
Yeah, right. Any special occasion?
No, just a bucket list.
Bucket list.
Turned 45 and I was like, I got it.
Well, it sounds like a birthday, kind of a birthday thing. Bucket list, birthday.
Okay.
All right. You here with anyone?
Huh?
You here with anyone?
Yeah, friends.
Friends? Cool. Are they jumping too?
No. Yeah, some of them are.
Oh, some. Cool. Not alone.
No, not alone. The other half is over there.
Yeah, Joy was living a beautiful life she wanted, and it at this point where she attracted a 46-year-old man called Calvin Lamont Jackson, also known as CJ. Despite his questionable and funny act, she saw something special in him. Joy's friends were happy for her new boyfriend, and some took pictures with CJ in some of the places they went together. Their romance looked perfect. Portrayed in many videos, they traveled together, creating memories, and eventually, Joy and CJ welcomed a daughter who brought them immense joy, making this couple a complete family. Now, because the family had grown, Joie doubled as a real estate agent, and while most would collapse under such a schedule, she succeeded. Her energy was infectious. Her drive was unstoppable. Little did she know, her story was about to take an unexpected turn that would touch hearts far beyond her immediate circle. The perfect relationship would soon begin to crack, revealing a troubling pattern that had been present for years, hidden in Wei's constant smiling face and character. But at this point, it had gone out of hand. In 2007, Joie first accused CJ of assault. 5 years later in 2012, things had escalated dramatically. Police were called after CJ allegedly punched her twice and trapped their baby inside their Wendell Drive home. Another assault in 2021 led to charges that, like previous incidents, were mysteriously dropped, but the assaults did not stop. And as you can guess, Joie planned to leave, which was also supported by one of her close friends. When she finally mustered the courage to end their relationship, Joy packed her belongings and got ready to leave the house she shared with CJ, taking her daughter with her. Remember, Joy was a successful realtor, which meant she could afford to take care of herself and her daughter, so they weren't in desperate need of anything in that house since the relationship was no longer working out. But this attempt did not seat well with CJ, and he stopped them. So that day, they did not leave the house. His behavior escalated from controlling to absolutely terrifying. He began tracking her car and monitoring her every move, turning the breakup into a nightmare of constant surveillance. At one point, he even tracked her to a house, showing where she was about to make a huge amount of commission. Joy was shocked that he knew her exact location, as she had not expected him to find her. She was more shocked to find out that CJ knew how much she was taking home that day, and it's from that moment on that Joy began to fear for her life. However, she couldn't fully understand how CJ had found her location. Out of curiosity, she began checking her car and discovered a tracking device hidden inside. Joy, a friend to many, had one close girlfriend with whom she shared her private situations. One day, she had a sad text conversation with this friend. In these screenshots, she revealed that she had found a tracking device and feared that her husband might put her in the casket. So she became more determined to leave CJ, using the big commission she had made to secure a new place for herself and her daughter. Joy's friends couldn't reach her, a worrying silence that struck fear in their hearts. What scared them most was her complete disconnection from her daughter, something completely out of her character, because Joy always stayed in touch with her child. So, Joy's friend, once she used to text, knew a neighbor from the house parties they used to host. She reached out to him, worried that she hadn't heard from Joy all day, and asked him to check on her. Jamar James, the couple's neighbor, decided to investigate.
We go out, hang out, cookouts. We have family events where they invite us to their house. We have family events, we invite them to our house. He only said 2 words to me, you know. He said, you know, what's up, bro? And then I just asked him where Joy at, and he told me downstairs. And I was just like, well, I didn't see her downstairs. So that's when I went up the stairs, and I seen her in the bed.
Upon entering the unlocked house, they found CJ in what James described as a zombie state.
His mind just wasn't there. His mind wasn't there. It was almost like he was in a zombie state, just like gone.
CJ's response about Joy's whereabouts was disturbingly unemotional. He casually mentioned she was downstairs, but when they climbed the stairs, a horrifying scene awaited them. The bedroom revealed Joy's body, shot in the head. CJ was also injured, appearing to have attempted to inflict serious injuries to himself but survived. The scene was a moment frozen in absolute terror. James called the police to the apartment immediately. Within minutes, police cruisers lined the streets, their blue and red lights painting the faces of shocked neighbors who gathered in small clusters on their front lawns. The responding officers worked methodically, securing the area, while paramedics rushed to attend to both CJ and Jawa, though for her, it was already too late. The chief medical examiner officially ruled Joy's death a homicide by gunshot wound. Despite clear evidence, the case languished unresolved for months.
It has been nearly 2 months since a Kickingham High School teacher was shot in Hampton, but police have yet to make an arrest. Those close to her share their call for justice. With 10 on your sides, Kiana Patterson.
Yes, Tom, it's been 57 days without answers. Joy Brown was found and killed by her friends. And today we've learned the medical examiner ruled this a homicide. Yet there's still no charges or arrests made in the case.
Friends and family, consumed by frustration, took to social media demanding justice.
Just trying to process the fact that her life was taken the way that it was, and nothing's being done about it.
But just when the case seemed to go cold, a breakthrough arrived. After months of painstaking investigation, police finally issued a warrant for Calvin Jackson's arrest. He surrendered himself and faced multiple serious charges of murder, using a firearm during a felony, possessing a firearm as a convicted felon, and discharging a firearm in an occupied building. And with that, a tragic story reached its legal turning point. CJ now sits in jail without bond, a small cold comfort for those mourning Joy. Although Joy's story is tragic, it's not as heartbreaking as Monique's story.
My baby was so precious to me, to all of us. And I'm asking you, Your Honor, to please use your power to make sure they spend the rest of their miserable, insignificant lives in prison.
Monique, a thriving property agent, received an unforeseen call from a lady requesting to view a home her firm was listing. She had no clue that this single choice would plunge her into peril, endangering her existence and causing sorrow for her family. The call appeared harmless, yet it would quickly become evident that Monique had stepped directly into the final moments of her existence. This story takes us to Minneapolis, Minnesota, to cover tragic case of a real estate agent and mother of 2 young kids who was tricked into attending a fake home showing, abducted, and brutally killed in an extremely agonizing way.
Some of you know, but for those of you who don't, I am in real estate and I feel truly blessed.
Monique Baugh entered the world in Minneapolis, Minnesota, where she spent her early years enveloped by a caring family. Monique followed her passion into the world of real estate, and so she became a respected realtor in the Twin Cities region, earning a reputation for her commitment and expertise. Her peers admired her determination and her knack for thriving in her profession. And at this point, Monique met a man that changed her life forever. Monique Baugh crossed paths with John Mitchell Mohaw, an up-and-coming rapper, through shared acquaintances in the Minneapolis music community. The pair instantly developed a powerful bond and started a romantic relationship. Although their professional lives diverged, Monique thriving as a real estate agent and John chasing his musical dreams, their relationship was rooted in profound affection. As their relationship deepened, Monique and John were blessed with 2 lovely daughters. The quartet became a tight-knit unit, with Monique showering her children with affection and John offering a steadfast and nurturing presence. They treasured the time they shared, building a tapestry of cherished experiences that would leave an indelible mark on their family's story. Monique's cousin, Cherelle Sinkfield, was a devoted admirer of the couple and frequently spoke of their connection as something extraordinary and unshakable. She marveled at how they encouraged one another's goals and ambitions, always working to uplift and inspire each other. Monique's radiant smile and lively spirit perfectly balanced John's determination and relentless drive. The family took delight in life's simple joys, whether it was spending time on outings or enjoying peaceful moments together at home. Monique's unwavering devotion to her children and her deep love for John reflected her strong character and the resilience of their bond. While their lives appeared idyllic, they were not without challenges. In fact, one of these challenges would ultimately lead to a heartbreaking and devastating event. On December 29, 2019, Monique Baugh's phone buzzed with a voicemail from a woman identifying herself as Lisa Pulowski. Her tone was composed and businesslike as she inquired about arranging a house viewing in Maple Grove, Minnesota. Initially, Monique found the request slightly unusual, as most clients typically reached out through her real estate agency rather than contacting her directly. Despite a weird call, Monique, renowned for her commitment and enthusiasm for her work, didn't delay. She promptly returned Lisa's call, eager to provide assistance. Lisa explained that she was in the market to purchase a property and needed to schedule a showing as soon as possible. Monique, ever the professional, offered a few available time slots, and after a brief discussion, they agreed on December 30th at 11 a.m. Monique had no way of knowing that this seemingly routine phone call would set off a horrifying sequence, a series of events that would shatter her world and devastate the lives of those who cared for her. The woman on the other end of the line wasn't genuinely interested in purchasing a house. Instead, she was a key player in a dark and calculated scheme, one crafted to draw Monique into a fatal snare. Now, you remember the woman who called Monique. Her name was not Lisa, her real name is Elsa Segura, and she wasn't acting alone in this sinister plan. She was collaborating with others, Barry Davis, Lyndon Wiggins, and Cedric Barry, all of whom were entangled in a convoluted scheme tied to a feud involving Monique's boyfriend, John Mitchell Momoa, and conflicts over a music label. But still, Monique doesn't know all this. So, as Monique got ready for the showing, the bad guys put their malicious plan into action. They meticulously arranged the location, ensuring everything was in place for Monique's arrival, poised to set their trap in motion. On December 31st, 2019, Monique got ready early for her family's New Year's Eve celebration and headed out to the Maple Grove property, anticipating a meeting with a potential buyer. Unbeknownst to her, 2 men were lying in ambush. One of them suddenly attacked, leaping onto her back and overpowering her, forcing her to the tiled floor where they bound her hands and mouth. Security footage captured the chilling moment of the ambush, showing the assailants forcing her into the back of a U-Haul truck. What should have been an ordinary workday for Monique had horrifically transformed into a living nightmare. For 2 agonizing hours, Monique sat in sheer terror in the back of that U-Haul truck as it ran the streets of Minneapolis. The men who abducted her showed no compassion. They were executing a ruthless plan tied to the ongoing feud involving John. Now, confined in the back of the truck, we can only imagine the despair that consumed Monique's thoughts. Her mind likely flooded with fear, confusion, and a desperate hope for survival. But the kidnappers had a far more sinister agenda. They drove for nearly 6 hours, eventually arriving at Monique's family home, with her still restrained and trapped in the darkness of the U-Haul. At approximately 5:30 p.m., Police rushed to a shooting reported at John Mitchell Mohomo's residence on Humboldt Avenue in Minneapolis, where he and his 2 young daughters were inside. John, Monique's boyfriend, had been shot several times by a masked assailant, who gained entry using a key taken from Monique. Despite his critical injuries, John managed to flee the house, leaving his 2 children inside. He was quickly rushed to a nearby hospital, where he seized the opportunity to call the police and share crucial information about the attack. These details were soon relayed to the responding officers, as John expressed profound concern for the safety of his young daughters. But there was something John didn't know. In a U-Haul truck parked near the same residence, his partner Monique was in grave danger. Now it's at this point I want to introduce Wanda Baugh, Monique's mother. She was at work when John's neighbor repeatedly called and sent her multiple messages. But at work, Baugh keeps her phone away in the lockers, so she didn't respond immediately. But when she finally checked her phone, she was stunned by what she saw. Hoping it wasn't true, but sensing the urgency, she knew she had to act quickly.
I got off and I see that I had a text from my neighbor. I called him right away and he says, you know, a guy got shot at your house. And I said, no. And I said, where's my daughter? And he says, I don't know.
She hurried to John's apartment, where she found that the police had already arrived and the scene was chaotic. Monique and John were nowhere to be found, but her 2 grandchildren were inside, luckily unharmed. Wanda and the officers struggled to make sense of the situation until a critical discovery helped unravel the mystery. A police officer noticed a single door key lying on the floor which appeared to belong to the house. Wanda, upon inspecting it, confirmed that the key was Monique's. This revelation made it clear that the gunman had known Monique's whereabouts, and that her role in the ordeal had been to provide the key needed to gain access to John. The pieces of the puzzle were beginning to fall into place, revealing the sinister nature of the plot. Upon learning this information, Wanda was overcome with fear and a pressing sense of urgency. She knew her daughter was in danger because there's no way Monique's key was in the house during her working hours. The police treated the case with such seriousness that they installed gunshot detectors throughout the house and in the neighboring residences. In fact, officers remained in the apartment for quite some time, continuing to piece together evidence. Approximately an hour later, a gunshot detection alert directed authorities to an alley on the 1300 block of Russell Avenue North. There, they discovered Monique's body, her hands bound with tape, and multiple gunshot wounds, including a point-blank shot to the face. She was immediately transported to North Memorial Medical Center, but unfortunately, Monique was pronounced dead shortly after. It was a very heartbreaking moment for her mother, Wanda, her family, friends, and that community that loved Monique deeply. Throughout this time, John had been incapacitated in the hospital and unable to communicate. Once he regained his ability to speak, officers visited him to deliver the heartbreaking news. His reaction was likely unimaginable. The revelation of Monique's body profoundly affected the community. People were horrified that this vibrant, hard-working real estate agent and mother had been violently murdered. Law enforcement swiftly cordoned off the area, gathering evidence and initiating a comprehensive investigation. Forensic teams meticulously searched the scene for anything that could aid in understanding the events that transpired. Shell casings, potential DNA, and other relevant materials were collected in hopes of identifying those responsible for this unimaginable crime. As detectives conducted a deeper investigation, surveillance footage emerged as a vital component. The footage captured the moment Monique was forcibly taken into a U-Haul by 2 men, allowing the police to establish a timeline of the event, gradually revealing the sinister conspiracy behind the crime. The investigation quickly connected the kidnapping and murder to a larger scheme linked to John and the dispute involving the music label. It was a revenge plot that spiraled out of control, causing devastation to innocent lives. John became embroiled in a perilous conflict with Lyndon Wiggins, a figure associated with both the music industry and the drug trade. Tensions flared following a disagreement over a record label contract, further exacerbated by Wiggins' suspicion that John had snitched on him to the authorities, resulting in Wiggins' arrest related to drugs. The situation intensified when, on December 16, Wiggins posted a video in which he showcased a significant amount of cash. To illustrate the extent of his wealth, he placed a portion of the money in a dryer, which was later believed to belong to Wanda.
I realized it was my shower and my dryer that was posted on December 16th. December 31st, Monique was taken.
This situation created significant and troubling tension, as Wiggins and his associates believed the money was a bribe for John's alleged cooperation with law enforcement. His display of wealth on social media appeared to imply that he was indifferent at the very least. As tensions escalated between the two, the atmosphere became tense and dangerous, paving the way for potential violence. In the aftermath of the tragic events, John found himself facing accusations on social media, with some individuals blaming him for Monique's death due to his previous involvement with drugs and the lifestyle he was believed to lead. Despite the criticism, John firmly denied knowing any of the individuals implicated, including a man named Cedric Berry, asserting, "I've never seen that Cedric dude in my life." As he grieved Monique's loss, John expressed his desire to clear his name and discussed the significant emotional strain that the situation had imposed on him. In the wake of Monique Baugh's tragic murder, law enforcement acted quickly to apprehend several individuals involved in the conspiracy. The primary suspects included Elsa Segura, a former probation officer who allegedly enticed Monique under the pretense of a false home showing, Lyndon Wiggins, identified as the mastermind of the operation, and Cedric Berry and Barry Davis, who were accused of executing the kidnapping and murder. Each of the suspects faced severe charges, including first-degree murder, attempted murder, and kidnapping. The prosecution contended that the motive arose from a conflict over a music label and allegations of drug activities involving John Mitchell Momo, Monique's boyfriend. During the trial of Cedric Berry and Barry Davis in June 2021, the prosecution introduced crucial evidence, such as surveillance footage that depicted the moments leading up to Monique's abduction, witness testimonies including those from John Mitchell Momo, who had survived an earlier attack that day, and forensic evidence showing that Monique had been shot multiple times, including at point-blank range. Both men were convicted of first-degree murder, attempted murder, and kidnapping, receiving life sentences without the possibility of parole.
I do think they proved it. The jury thought they proved it. I think they did quite a good job of proving it, as a matter of fact. There will be no possibility of release.
At the sentencing hearing, Barry expressed remorse, stating he was facing life without parole for a few fingerprints that said they were mine.
Because justice wasn't served. They didn't prove that nothing to do with me with this.
Elsa Segura's trial happened later, with the prosecution claiming she played a key role by using a burner phone to set up a fake home showing under the name Lisa Palowski, clearly trying to trick Monique. Her defense argued that she didn't know her accomplices planned to be violent, and that her actions didn't mean she wanted to hurt Monique. Nevertheless, the jury found Segura guilty of helping with first-degree murder, attempted murder, and kidnapping, giving her a life sentence in prison. However, something shocking occurred. In February 2024, the Minnesota Supreme Court surprised everyone by overturning Elsa Segura's conviction. They stated there wasn't enough clear evidence to show she intended to be part of Monique's kidnapping and murder. They also pointed out that the jury had received incorrect instructions, allowing them to convict Segura based on what others had done. This decision felt like reopening old wounds for Monique's family. Sherelle Sinkfield, Monique's cousin, expressed how deeply this affected them, leaving the whole family feeling hurt and helpless after years of fighting for justice. Now that Segura is facing a retrial, Monique's family is getting ready for another tough legal battle. Despite this setback, they firmly believe that everyone responsible for Monique's murder should be punished. They hold on to hope, praying that this time justice will be served and that Monique's memory won't be ruined by the overturned conviction. For years, Monique's family has lived through deep sadness. Each part of the legal process reminds them of the daughter, cousin, and mother they lost. Wanda Williams Baugh, Monique's mother, has been strong through every trial, always speaking up for her daughter. She gave emotional victim impact statements, ensuring the court knew how much Monique's murder affected her.
Have to die. I didn't have to throw her out like she was garbage either. My baby was so precious to me, to all of us. And I'm asking you, Your Honor, to please use your power to make sure they spend the rest of their miserable, insignificant lives in prison. She could have been a hero. She could have warned Monique.
While they are grateful for the convictions of the other suspects, Wanda's pain over Segura's release is immense. The retrial feels like reliving the tragedy again, but she is determined to seek justice for Monique. As always, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Perhaps someone learns from your advice. I will talk to you again in another video. It's a bye for now.